Hi, I'm Fred Satilli, and this is the fourth video in this series, Who Are You Really? This particular episode is called Transition, and the reason is, in my conversation with people, they seem to think that you're one thing one day and you're one thing the next day, but that is not the case with correcting your status. It's a long process, it's a long learning process, and it's a process where you have to practice and apply what you learn over a long period of time. It's not a membership. It's not a membership card thing where you sign a piece of paper and now you're in. It's a change of lifestyle. It's a change of how you live your life, and the transition usually takes a great deal of time. Now, what we want you to do is we want you to watch these videos in sequence. If you start with this one, and you haven't watched ones before this, you'll kind of not understand some of the things that I'm talking about maybe. So the links for the first three videos are in the comments below. You know, you always see people say that on these YouTube things. And also they can be found at californiaassembly.com. If you go on californiaassembly.com, there's a Learn tab, and when you arrow down, you'll see Who Are You Really, and the links should be there. It's an easy way to share this with your friends. Now, the other thing that comes up is people ask me, what do I get? If I change my status, if I correct my status, what do I get? What do I, So there are very many things, and I'm going to cover a few of them here. Once again, it would take years of research and training to understand everything you get, but I'll touch on a few real fundamental ones. And the first one is actual ownership of your property. Now, if you're a homeowner and you've paid off your mortgage and now you think you own your land and the stuff that's on the land, the house, you do not. You are a tenant there. And that's what it actually says in your faux title. And the reason that you know you're a tenant is because there's a yearly amount of money that has to be paid. And if you don't pay that money to the landlord, which is the government, they will come and remove you from their land on which you are the tenant. But there is a way to actually own the land the way a king owns his country. And that is with something, a legal vehicle called a land patent. And it's probably different in each state, but in California, you would go to the Bureau of Land Management. You would explain to them that you are a man, not a corporate entity. A corporate entity cannot own land. Only a man or woman can. So you will go there, you'll explain that you are a man and that you are living on this property and on this land, and you will request the land patent. And when the land patent is delivered to you and you attach your name to it, now you will never pay property taxes again because you don't rent the land, you own the land. It's really a big deal. And when you own the land, there are rights and benefits that go with that do not exist for people who are merely a corporate tenant on the land. Now, the best way to talk about this is to show you the trespass warning, and I'm going to read it to you. It says, you can enter this property only if you have the owner's written permission, you are a U.S. mail carrier, commercial delivery service, or you are responding to a medical or fire emergency, right? You want the ambulance and the fire department to come on there. Also, if you possess a valid constitutional Fourth Amendment warrant signed in wet ink by a judge. And if the person wanting to enter your property does have that, with proper jurisdiction showing probable cause and the specific places and things to be searched. So if they say we have probable cause to believe that you have dangerous narcotics in your refrigerator, they have to come in, go to the refrigerator, open it, and look for narcotics. If you have hand grenades in there, they can't mention it. It's not on the list of things that their warrant states. And they can't look around the rest of the house. It's got to be a specific thing in a specific place with probable cause. Now, when you study law, sometimes it's funny. And I really like this particular one. It says here, believe it or not, this is a quote, "The intruder who enters clothed in the robes of authority in broad daylight commits no less an invasion of the property than if he sneaks in the night wearing a burglar's mask." And this is from Hedler versus United States, 952 F, second 134, blah, blah, blah. You know how legal stuff goes. So it's really important to the bottom here in red. It says, if you violate this lawful notice, you will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law and within your private capacity. Now, this private capacity is an important thing. You and I are used to dealing with corporate law. We go to corporate court, and there's a judge there who's the boss, and he tells you what's going to happen and how it's going to happen, and it's indisputable by anybody. This is not the case in common law court. When you correct your status and you're a man and you're not a corporation, first of all, the court has no authority over you. The corporate court cannot summon you because they work for you. This is really hard to absorb. Man is at the very top, answerable only to God. Man creates the government. Government creates the bureaucracy. These people all work for you, and you make this commonly known. Now, the fullest extent of the law, what I'm saying here is that when you're a man, everyone you deal with, whether it's a police officer or a judge or the president, they are a man just like you. There is no immunity. There's no judicial immunity, no police officer immunity, none of that kind of thing. If that person violates your rights, you take them to common law court, and it's man to man. This goes all the way back to Charlemagne. This goes when they made the Magna Carta, they told the king, we appreciate that you're the king and you run the country and everything like that, but if you violate someone's rights, you will be as liable as any other man. That's how far that goes back, and in fact, there's plenty of cases of this that go back 5,000 years where it's recognized that man is not immune from any other man because of a color of law or the office of authority or any such thing. Now, in this explanation of the property rights here and how you'll never pay property taxes, it comes to mind that everybody knows that you pay your income tax voluntarily. And everybody laughs when you say that, and they say, yeah, well, go ahead and stop paying them and see what happens. Now, the reason that people go to jail for not paying their taxes is because they have not corrected their status. They are still a corporate entity. They're still under corporate contract to the corporate United States, and because they're under that contract, they absolutely have to pay those taxes. Absolutely. But when you become a man or a woman and you're no longer corporate contracted, now those taxes don't apply to you. And when your status is corrected, you can tell the government that you are no longer going to volunteer to give them this money. You have to do it the right way. You can't just dig your heels in, hold up a copy of the Constitution and say, I know my rights, I'm not paying my taxes, I'm not volunteering. You will be wrong. You are under contract to pay those taxes, and until you nullify that contract, you damn well better do it. Okay? Now, another thing that is popular now is medical compulsion. And when you are a man or a woman, no one can compel you to take a medical treatment of any kind. You know, in the country of Austria right now, they don't have the rights that we can have here if we are free men or free women. everybody there is under contract. And right now they're saying that if you don't take the jab by January 30th or February 1st or February 28th or whatever, I almost said February 30th. But if you don't take it, they're going to either hunt you down and jab you, or they're going to give you a $16,000 fine, and they can do it because you're under contract to do what they say. But here in America, not the United States of America Incorporated, but here in America, if you're a free man or a free woman on the land, you have jurisdiction over your body, and any attempt to even touch you or mandate anything in any, not just this jab, but anything at all, is absolutely out of the question. You retain that right. And just the way you protect yourself from medical treatment, you also have every single right to protect yourself with arms at all time, anywhere. And that right can never be infringed because you're a free man or a free woman. You're no longer under contract. Now, people say, well, yeah, that sounds great, big shot, but, the people in power, they're just not going to allow you. They're going to do whatever they want. They're going to, yeah. That is because they think that they can, because no one has ever told them that they can't. So, when you begin to transition, when you start to live this life and you start to talk this talk and walk this walk and understand it and be more confident, you then have to gather society around you, because this country runs on consensus. We have sheriffs and they're wonderful people and they want to do the right thing, most of them, and they understand what they can do, but they're also politicians. And without the consensus of the population, they can't really do something that's not going to be popular. They can't do it on their own. They need the help and support of the population. When they have the population behind them, then they can do the right thing. So you have to empower them. You can't just lean back and say, well, we'll just let them do the dirty work and we won't get involved. That's not how it works. That's not how self-governance works. That's not how you protect your rights. You have to do it. So I'm going to cut the video here, but in the weeks to come, I'm going to describe how you do that within law, because there is a lawful process that makes this really possible and it makes sense. And if you do it, you will have the proper results. We're going to talk about the grand jury and the affidavit process, the power of the sheriff's office, and you're going to come to learn that these things are your friends. So thank you now. Thank you for letting me get this far, and watch the previous videos and anticipate the ones to come. And little by little, we each first, and then as a society, will begin to create this transition. The transition from free men, 1776 style, till now was extremely slow and gradual over many decades, and we're going to have to reverse that process, and we know how to do it. We know how to do it peacefully, legally and lawfully, but primarily peacefully. And when we do, we'll have a better world, and I think everybody wants that. So thanks again. I'm Fred Satilli, and I'll see you next time.